Let's look at how you can execute SQL scripts on a PlanetScale database. Hey everyone, my name is Brian Morrison and I'm on the developer education team here at PlanetScale. Today we're going to take a look at how you can use the PlanetScale CLI to execute SQL scripts from your own computer against the PlanetScale database, which can be useful if you need to execute a bunch of commands all at one shot. In order to follow along with this guide, you'll need to have a PlanetScale account as well as the PlanetScale CLI installed. Instructions on how to install the CLI will be in the description below. Let's get started. Okay, so on screen I have VS Code open, and I have one of our sample repositories, the Go Bookings API, already cloned down to my computer. A link to clone this repository will be in the description below. Inside the structure of the repository, there is a folder here called scripts. If I expand that and open this create_dbscript.sql, you can see there is a number of statements here that will create some tables and insert some data into those various tables. Okay, so I've switched to the integrated terminal inside of VS Code, and I'm going to start by creating a database using the PlanetScale CLI. So I'll type in pscale, database, create, and we will name this database bookings_db. Okay, it says the database was successfully created. So now I'm going to cd into the scripts directory. And the way that we can execute this script against our newly created PlanetScale database is with the PlanetScale CLI using pscale, shell, and then the name of the database, which is bookings_db. And then the name of the branch you want to execute the script against. We haven't created a branch, but the default one of main is already created for us, so I'll type in main. Then what you want to do is add a left angle bracket, and then the name of your script, which in this case is create_dbscript.sql. Now when I hit enter, you'll see the command finish with no additional output. Let's connect to the database using pscale shell, bookings_db, and then main again, without anything extra, and this will drop us into a shell session of the database. If I use the command show tables with a semicolon at the end and hit enter, you can see there are now 5 tables that have been created inside of this database. I can select star from hotels to see all the hotels that have been added as well. Now this is a fairly simple script with only 5 tables and a few records within each of those tables. Let's take a look at a more complicated example though. Now what you're looking at is an open source sample employees database that is referenced in the MySQL docs and is commonly used to learn MySQL. This is a fork of that repository which has been slightly modified to remove the foreign key constraints, which are not supported by PlanetScale since they interfere with some of the key optimizations we provide to databases on our platform. So the first file we're going to examine is this employees.sql file. If I scroll down, you can see there are a number of more tables that are being created: employees, departments, department manager, department employee, titles, etc. Now, although this doesn't actually create any of the records, these .dump files on the left-hand side do. For example, if I take a look at loademployees.dump, we can see that there are so many records that are going to be created from this script that VS Code doesn't even want to syntax highlight them, as it would impact the performance of VS Code. So now with this repository open in the integrated terminal, we can basically perform the same operations as before. pscale, database, create, and then we'll name this database employees_db. Okay, with the database created, we can type in pscale shell employees_db, main for the branch, add our left open angle bracket, and then enter in employees.sql since that's the script file we want to execute. Now when I hit enter, you'll see a number of messages are going to start streaming across your terminal. Uploading this database may take a minute or so just because there are so many records that need to be put into the database, so I'm going to fast forward the video until it's finished. Okay, the process is completed, and I've cleared the terminal just to get some room to work with. Now let's connect to the database and take a look at the tables and records in there as well. I can do this with pscale shell employees_db and then main for the branch. Now if I enter a show tables here, you can see we have all of the tables defined inside of that employees.sql script have been created. We can take a look at the number of records inside of any one of these tables. I will take a look at the employees table with select, count, and then a star from employees. You can see there are over 300,000 records inside of the employees database that have been just created in a few minutes. And to take a look at the data, we can do select star from employees, and then I'm going to limit the results to 10 on the way back. Now if I hit enter on the keyboard, you can see these are the first 10 records of that employees table that was just created inside of the employees database. After watching this guide, you should have a good understanding on how to execute SQL scripts in batch against a PlanetScale database. For more guides on how to use PlanetScale, visit us online at planetscale.com and check out our blog and documentation portal where we're adding new content all the time. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.